We're live, brother.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good.
That's good.
So what show is this? I've lost track. Is this 5 or 4?
I marked it as 5, I think.
Okay.
But obviously, after we're done, if I'm wrong, I'll go fix it. But I think it's 5.
Sounds good to me. We can just leave it at 5. So, like I said, I'm trying these headphones, man. They're kind of weird talking.
Yeah, I was trying to do this one to get some of the feedback. Maybe
Yeah.
I think that's what it was because I have the open mic here, and with my speakers too, it was probably feedbacking from that as well. So
Yeah.
But as long as I can't hear my mic, but you said it sounded perfect. So
Yeah, same with me. Yeah.
Yep.
So, right on, man. So, what's been going on this week? Any new stuff? What have you been up to?
Nothing new. Been reading a lot, doing a lot of research. As you know, I've been battling a little bit of the depression again this week. So I always research a lot of shit when I'm feeling down just to see what I could do. But yeah, I'm not one of those like I got to go to therapy kind of guys yet. Not yet.
That's cool. That keeps you thinking about something else, probably. You know what I mean, and get your mind off whatever might be dragging you down. So.
Yeah. Well, I think this week, like, my knees were real bad again, so I think that had a lot to do with it. So, and it's like I'm losing weight. I don't understand why the knees are so bad still, or what not. They hurt worse right now than 40 pounds ago or whatever. So
wow.
So I don't know if I did something to mess them up. I mean, I'm on my feet a lot, so at work and stuff. So, but I mean, lately I have been. So I don't know if I did something earlier in the week because it was like Tuesday. All of a sudden, it was like somebody stabbed me underneath both kneecaps.
Well, I tell you what, man, it's freaking weather. I mean, you probably got the same thing going up there. It's like 60 today, 22 tomorrow.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
Especially when the rain comes in.
Yeah.
That's when I really feel it. And it's cool out.
Yeah.
Because I just feel the arthritis in there then.
Yeah. It's been a weird winter, man.
I know. I love it though. No snow.
I want some, man.
I know you do.
We've had like 2 inches, maybe.
I think about that here.
Yeah. So not much here. We did go. I told you about it. Went and saw Godzilla on the big screen.
Yes, that's awesome.
I saw the original Japanese version, which very cool. Come find out that the people putting this on it's like a little group here in the community, and they've been doing this for a while, and I have no idea how I've missed out on it. But like this is their 504th movie they've shown.
Wow.
Yeah, like and they do it in nice big theater and the whole nine. So kind of hooked up with them, and not everything they show I want to see, but definitely some stuff. Like we got tickets for Bubba Hotep. I was telling you about.
Yeah, I saw the poster you sent me. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's something kind of to do in the future here, maybe one a month or something, one every couple months.
Yeah, I think they have that kind of stuff around here, but I know every summer they have Blob Fest, like right down the road, because it was filmed in Phoenixville, which is like 10 minutes from me.
That's cool.
So every year I keep, wanting to go to Blob Fest, but I never do.
Yeah. I always wanted to go to that big horror sci-fi fest and all that. What is it in Pennsylvania, up around Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it's like Mars, PA, or something like that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's like the one, and it's huge, man. But I haven't made it there yet.
Did they have it? Do they have that twice a year or once a year?
I think they just do it once a year, like around. Shit, I can't remember when it is. It's towards.
I thought it was near Halloween.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, the middle to late into the year, somewhere in there. But I want to go, but it's always something else comes up, or we just
Yeah, I wonder where Mars is. I think north of Pittsburgh. It's got to be north of Pittsburgh, I would think.
Yeah, I think it's like northeast a little bit of Pittsburgh. Okay. I think so. So eventually,
I never heard of. I've never been there either. So
yeah, me neither. Eventually, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But after seeing Godzilla, like I said, it was the Japanese version. So if people watching don't know, Godzilla originally came out in 54 in Japan, totally recorded in Japan. Then in 56, they took that movie and cut it all up and took Raymond Burr, Perry Mason, and he was a star in it. You know what I mean? And it's actually interesting to watch, just having watched the original. And right now I'm like halfway through tonight watching the American version and just seeing how they cut everything up and completely changed everything around. So, but I pulled it out of, I don't know if you grabbed this. Have you seen the Godzilla box set that come out?
No, not at all. What is that?
It's Criterion.
No shit, really?
Yeah, it's like a giant book. Yeah, it has all this stuff on each movie and everything. And then the Blu-rays are back here in the back. There's 8 of them.
Wow.
And it's got the first 15 movies. So
that's
yeah, it's
that's
pretty
funny.
It's pretty killer. The packaging, I think it's okay. I would rather just have the standard, I don't really like the Blu-rays like this. But I mean, it's Criterion, man, and everything I've watched so far looks really good. Yeah, I haven't got all the way through it yet. But yeah, that thing was like $180 or something. And I think it's down now, like around $100 you can get it. But for 15 movies and a shit ton of bonus stuff and all that,
yeah, that's killer.
Yeah, so I had to jump on that.
Man, that's pretty awesome. I had read something that Criterion was going to do something, but I didn't know it was that.
Yeah,
I thought they did the first Godzilla, right?
Before. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think they did, because I think I might have picked that up. I can't remember what I buy anymore. It's so weird,
dude. I have spreadsheets now of records and movies and all, and I keep it on my phone because if I'm out, I just double bought a magazine the other day.
I've done that at least 10 times over the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's like once a year I end up doing that. At least it's only a magazine.
It's always a hard, like, I'm like, I don't think I've seen this one. And I get home and because I always keep like the fresh mags right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'll look and I'm like, shit, there it is.
Yeah.
So I'll just give it to one of the boys or something.
Speaking of magazines, I know we both grabbed this.
Yep.
The new Scary Monsters. And this is the Monster Memories issue.
There it is.
I love this magazine, man.
It's one of the greatest magazines ever.
Absolutely. If you like the old crazy movies, the old black and white sci-fi horror, that's where it's at, man.
Now, this is the first time they've actually done the Monster Memories as part of their regular issue run, correct?
Yeah, they used to do one special a year for Monster Memories, but now they did away with that. Now they just have it within the regular monthly or the whatever it is every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months, which I like. That way I don't have to buy. I don't think I bought many of the Monster Memories ones, but you had told me that they're awesome because it's like everybody and their mother can basically write
absolutely
a letter in here.
Yeah, they're kind of my favorite issues, to be honest, because it's just like some random guy in Cleveland will write a 2-page spread on, his childhood watching monster movies and the horror hosts and, who got him into it. They're just kind of interesting to me. I think I kind of dig them.
Yeah.
So
I love reading because every issue they'll do something. Here's the craziest thing, man. When I was a kid and King Kong came out, the 77 one, I remember driving down the shore and coming over the bridge. I think it was either Wildwood or Ocean City. I'm thinking it was Ocean City, but I'm not 100%. I can't remember because nobody else in my family can remember. We come over the bridge into Ocean City, and there's this huge ape that you can see from the bridge almost.
Right.
And here it was a prop for, I guess, King Kong.
Wow, that's cool.
And you could sit in the thing's hand. Like the hand was on the boardwalk. You could sit in the hand, like the actual size of the hand of Kong's hand or whatever. But for years and years and years, nobody believed me that there was this like however foot tall King Kong.
Right.
crest over the bridge, you can actually see the fucking thing like it's standing in the ocean or something.
That's killer.
So that was when I was 6, I think, was when King Kong came out.
Yeah.
So I would say the summer of 77 that was. So within the last, I would say 10 years, I was reading an issue of Scary Monsters magazine. I can't remember what. It was an old issue because I know that because I had bought a bunch of back issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I started reading it and they were talking about Kong. I flipped the page. Sure enough, there's a picture
Of
of
what
the
you saw.
Jersey, the Jersey Shore Kong from like 77 or whatever it was.
That's
So
awesome, man.
Dude, I dropped what I was doing, took the magazine, hopped in the car, and went to my mom's house to show her.
See, I
She
wasn't
was like,
crazy.
I think you were drunk. She was like, I don't remember that. And I'm like, I'm telling you, there was this giant Kong down there. So I redeemed myself on that one.
Yeah, I still like that version. It's
Yeah,
not the
it's-
greatest movie, but it's from our childhood, I
Right,
guess.
that's the one I grew up with. So
Right.
I mean, that's the one that made me go back and watch the 33 one.
Yeah. Now, what'd you think about the what was his name? Jackson, the one he did?
I hated it.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan at all of that thing.
It looked like everything else that was happening at the time as far as CGI goes, the big monster. Not that there was monster things, but like Jurassic Park and that kind of thing was.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jurassic Park. I think that first trilogy of Jurassic Park was over by then, but that's what it reminded me of. It was too animated, too
Long.
and too much CGI. The ape was too big, or too cartoonish.
Yeah, I agree. But I loved Skull Island.
Yeah,
Kong
I thought that part of the film was great. I thought In the City was cheesy as shit. I just think everything looked way too over the top for the city at the time.
Yeah, I'm talking about the last movie, Kong Skull Island.
Oh, I thought you meant when they filmed the part on Skull Island.
Oh yeah,
because I thought that was a cool part when they actually got to Skull Island on.
That was the best part of the movie, probably.
Yeah. Oh, the film. I don't think I saw that one yet.
Oh, dude, you need to see that. You need to see the two new Godzilla movies and that. They're all connected.
I saw the first Godzilla. I don't think I haven't seen the second one yet, but I do have it. Like I'm gonna watch it soon. But
Kong Skull Island is the best of the three so far. You know what I mean?
Who is in that?
Samuel Jackson is in that, and who's the chick?
That wasn't Dr. Brule. He wasn't in that, was it? Dr. Steve. What's his name? Will Ferrell's partner. John C. Reilly.
I can't remember now, dude.
Was that the one with him? There was something with John C. Reilly in it.
It may have been. I can't see. I need to go back and watch it again.
He was like kind of like the goofy head of the island.
Yeah, you might be right. Because what's her name?
Then I did see it. I did see if that's him.
The chick from Captain Marvel. She's the girl, right, in the movie. God damn, man.
He's a good question. Kids don't get old.
20
years ago, I could rattle off anybody in the movie, but now I can't.
I'm awful with new movie stars and all that.
Yeah,
I can't remember names at all now.
I'm always like, I'm the guy that used to annoy me. Like, that chick that was in that show that was on HBO. She's in that one movie now.
Oh, dude, but I'm telling something to my wife. I got to go through like 3 movies and a TV show to get to who I'm trying to figure out. And
my God.
Yeah, she whips it out. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, what is wrong with you, man?
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. But I like that movie. And obviously I need to go back and watch it again because I can barely remember it. But I dug the part where, what is it, Monarch, where everything's kind of tied together.
Oh, yeah.
Between those 3 movies.
For the Giants.
Yeah.
Which I think eventually it's going to lead to. Did I read next year it's going to be
Kong versus Godzilla?
Yes. Is that going to happen?
Yeah, supposedly they're working on it now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that I'd be interested in for sure.
Now the new Godzilla, they've rebooted it again in Japan. Have you seen that? Shin Godzilla.
I saw
SH.
the ad for it, or the ad for the DVD or Blu-ray, but I don't know anything about it.
If you dig old Godzilla movies, dude, it's worth getting because it's still like
Guy in a suit.
it's still a guy in a suit and CGI stuff. So it's
Oh, it's a little.
pretty cool, man. If you dig the old cheesy stuff, you'll like it.
Well,
Yeah,
I know like some of the indie movie magazines I read, they loved it. So
yeah, it's worth. And dude, you can get it now pretty cheap. You know what I mean? It was hard to get at first.
was it?
And then all of a sudden, it come out on Blu-ray and it was a little expensive, but now it's like, 14, $15 or something.
I'll have to check it out for sure. I
It's
think
worth
you had sent me a picture of it. You had texted me a picture of it when you got it.
I'm hoping they keep going, but supposedly they are. They rebooted the whole thing.
Yeah, I thought I saw not too long ago that they were actually doing they were filming it. Maybe there was something new movie wise to news wise for the next one.
That's probably the Kong versus Godzilla one. I mean, that's the big one in the news right now.
Well, it was the Japanese. It was definitely the Shin Godzilla one.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
but I can't remember where I saw it. Because I was like, oh, I guess they're going to keep that going. But I did pick up the new Creeps is out.
I got that too. I don't have it sitting here, but
yeah.
But like, I can only get that when I go to Barnes and Nobles.
The new Horror Hound.
That's cool.
It's a great cover.
Yeah, I dig that.
So
I grabbed
the new today. Actually, I was just down there and I picked up. Did you ever see this?
Yeah, I've never grabbed one. They always look interesting, but I've never picked one up.
I pick them up all the time now. It's like a lot. This is a lot of independent horror and sci-fi, cult films.
Yeah,
it's cool.
You keep up much more with the new horror stuff and all that. With me, I'm kind of very picky from the 70s and 80s, and basically anything before that I love. Black and white. So
lately there hasn't been anything exciting lately as far as new horror goes.
Yeah, like I said, I don't keep up too much. The last new one I watched and dug was it Crimson
Peak?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I like
a ghost story type thing.
Yeah, it had an old school feel to it, almost a bit of a Hammer feel to it. Like they were in the house, and I really liked the filming of it, like the colors and all that. It was kind of
the cinematography on that film was really, really shot well.
That's the word I was looking for, George.
Cinematography.
I picked up one other mag. I usually pick these up. The new Rocky.
Yeah, I pick those up sporadically.
I dig them because they're like aimed right at us, man. The guys in our era. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's a great magazine, man. And I'm surprised that label jumped into the whole magazine game and tried to, I guess it's successful. They're having success with it.
Yeah, and they do all the, like you said, the label with all the reissues, and they reissue the exact crap that we like, what I mean? That 70s and 80s stuff. And
about a year ago, when I was getting those magazines, you'll probably remember this too. The back of them had "Coming Soon" Hot Wire from Kicks.
Yeah,
remember it was on there, and then it disappeared. So I emailed them. I'm like, what happened to the Hot Wire reissue you guys were going to do? Because I'd love to hear that remastered. And they're like, oh, Atlantic, I guess, pulled the contract. And so I figured Atlantic was going to do something with it, but they haven't.
Well, here's what George is talking about when they do all these. This is the kind of stuff they reissue.
And I think, what is it, at the top or the very bottom, they have "Coming Soon."
Yeah, down at the bottom here.
And that's where I first saw the Hot Wire from, like I said, and it was on like 2 or 3 issues of that. It
makes me wonder if somebody else is going to put it out or something.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, I figured they got the rights to do it, so that's why they were advertising it, and then I guess Atlantic pulled out of it. So
Now that you mentioned that, isn't that getting some kind of release?
I don't know
I think so. It seems like I saw something on the Kicks Facebook thing flash by about it.
about Hotwire.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they probably doing what they did for Blow My Fuse, maybe, which still
Maybe.
pisses me off. You can't get that on CD.
Yeah.
That's a download only, I think. Or no, or was the CD like crazy expensive?
That's what it was. It was expensive because I
Yeah.
didn't even grab it because it was.
And it was direct from them, I think. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't order it anywhere. I can't get it from anywhere, any of our distributors. So
Man,
that's
they're one
weird.
of those bands that like you've seen that the box set has like the first four Talkin in it. The one that has the
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
You should do the same thing with that band, man. You know,
I thought
it's
I think they did.
really I've never seen that.
Like the docking thing you're talking about was like the UK box, or is it a US one?
I think it was you. It was just cheap. You know what I mean? It was
It was
like
like just a
$15 for
yeah, it
everything.
was like a cardboard box about that with slip cases in
Yeah,
them.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did one for Kicks,
Oh, really? That's cool.
but
I've
it's
never.
been a while. I mean, it's been probably 10 years, maybe.
Huh. What's the Yellow Cover album in the early '90s?
Uh, Show business.
Yeah.
That one
That,
needs one too.
fuck yeah, man. That's like a totally forgotten album. That album's kick ass,
I
man.
love that record.
I would love to have that on vinyl. I don't think it ever come out on vinyl,
Nah,
really.
it didn't.
Yeah.
Nope. The last one to come out on vinyl was Hotwire, and that was only in Germany.
That's nuts. Well, I watched a couple movies this week.
Oh
Watched
yeah,
this,
which ones?
watched this classic.
Yeah,
How can you go wrong?
yeah. You always know it's good when the soundtrack is better than the actual movie.
Lizzie Borden, man, it was killer soundtrack. I've never seen this. Total '80s cheese, heavy metal, monster, demon kind of movie with a killer soundtrack. You got Carmine Appice, whichever way you say it, is the drummer in the band. This is the same dude that did, is it Rock and Roll Nightmare, the Thor movie?
Yep.
Yeah. So they put out both of them, that movie, which I have it also, and this one.
It's on the same label, isn't it? Or the same movie company.
Synapse, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, and I just started the commentary with that. So I'm actually looking forward to hearing all. They have
Yeah.
have like the director, one of the stars, a couple other people on there. It ought to be pretty interesting.
Oh, cool.
And then I got the shit. What's his name? Phoenix. What's that actor's name? Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin? Yeah.
I got that movie.
You got the Joker?
I got Space Camp.
Oh man.
Dude, I forgot he was in this.
You just devastated me. I thought you were gonna watch the Joker. I really think you're gonna love the Joker. Man.
That's when I was watching this. Like, I'm going to show it and act like it was the Joker. See if I can get Joker.
Yeah, you got me. I was like, holy shit, he got the Joker.
Well, I'm watching it and I'm like, he's 10 years old in this. This is an old 80s kid movie. It's got what's her name?
I remember that movie.
Yeah, Leah Thompson that was in Back to the Future. And
yeah, I had the hots for her when I was like 13.
She was bad back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm watching it. I'm like, God damn, that kid looks familiar. Of course, he's got the lip thing and all that. And I'm like, is that Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
On here, they call him Leaf Phoenix. Leaf is his name on here. So he must have changed it later on. But that was his very first movie.
Wow. Yeah. River and Leaf Phoenix.
Yeah. I guess they had hippie parents.
Yeah. Here, man. Here's the Joker, dude.
dude, when it probably comes out like on
And this is
HBO.
the Target exclusive cover.
Right on.
I have a
It look-
Target now right by my house. They just opened not too long ago, so I
yeah.
shot down there to pick this up because the cover for the normal one is just like the side of his face on it. And I thought that was a better cover. So,
Yeah, it's a cool cover actually.
but dude, it's
I'll watch it whenever it's on one of the channels, and then if I do like it, I'll end up picking it up. But
yeah, it's like Dog Day Afternoon meets like Taxi Driver.
yeah,
It's
it might be.
dark
Yeah, it might be too dark for me. Like I said, I like a little bit of
campiness.
yeah to the superhero, a little bit of humor.
Well,
I don't.
dude, this is not. I'm telling you, if you go into thinking this isn't a superhero movie,
Mm.
you'll have. I mean, when you're watching it, you won't feel like it's a superhero movie at all.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've heard definitely.
Yeah, that's why I think you'll like it because I know how much you're into that superhero, the movie stuff. And I remember when this first came out, you had no desire to see it whatsoever.
Nah,
But I think if you go into knowing it's not a superhero movie at all, it doesn't feel like one.
Mhm.
And it's just basically about somebody with mental health issues that just goes fucking basically snaps. It's kind of like that Michael Douglas movie,
oh,
Stand Tall, maybe? Is that what it was called?
it was it like Last Man Standing? Nah, I can't remember. I know exactly what you're talking about. He just flips out.
Yeah. But it's kind of that vibe to it as far as his brain goes. Like he just goes a little. It's fun. I think it was the best film last year,
Oh, cool.
even
Like,
more so than Star Wars.
like I say, I'll definitely watch it whenever it comes on.
Yeah, I think you'll dig it, man. I think you'll dig it if you go into it knowing, all right, this ain't a superhero film. There's no feel of a superhero film whatsoever.
Right. Right on. All right, so we talked about starting like a new segment,
Yeah,
which is basically each of us will show a record that we think everyone should hear at least once. At
and we're
least
gonna see how many times we, if
double
we
up.
ever matched.
Yeah.
We don't talk about what albums we're showing before we get on here. So
Right. So it's kind of, I guess, the way we talked about it. It's kind of like our top albums.
Mhm.
Yeah, our top 100 or whatever. We're just kind of showing them one at a time. But like every album is like, man, everybody should at least give this album a shot. At least check it out once. So if you want to go ahead and go first, brother.
Cool. I got for the first one tonight, Super Suckers. Motherfucker be tripping. Don't
Love
mind
that.
my slip. This is my cataloging slip, so I know this is what old men have to do. They got to catalog everything so we know we have it. But yeah, this one is the original press. I don't think they ever reissued this yet, but I think this was on. Yeah, their own label, the mid-fi label in the mid-90s, or I guess the late 90s. They started their own label called Mid-Fi, and they put out, I think, a bunch of. Man, they put out a bunch of CD singles, which I have all of them, most of them. And then I think they put them out as 7-inch singles as well. It was like a singles club almost.
Dude, they're like the helicopters almost. They have a shit ton.
Yeah, well, during this period from like 98 to like, man, I want to say like 2012 or 13, they had their own fan club. It was like the people with impeccable taste or something like that, fan club.
Yeah.
And when you joined the fan club or renewed every year, it was like $20. You would get this CD single that only the fan club would get.
Oh, that's cool.
And the CD singles were always like either live or demos or unreleased tracks. And one year they put Evil Powers of Rock and Roll. They put the whole version, the whole demo of that album out as the fan club CD that year,
Wow.
and it sounds like just a rawer version of the album, but still well produced. You know what I mean? It doesn't really sound like shitty demos. So they've done that, and then like just various singles along the way, and then I guess I don't know. I guess they just had enough of doing their own shit, and the one guy that ran it, Chris Neal, I think his name was. I guess he went. He was out of the picture for after he left and started doing something else, and that was the end of them. So I think ever since they've been on Acetate Records.
Yeah, it's like the new one's coming out on that.
Yeah, I sent you that link. Did you listen to it? The whole album? Would you?
Yeah, dude. Very, very cool. I mean, I'm going to have to give it some more time. I don't
Right.
haven't had to sit down with it yet. But yeah, I mean, 2 or 3 tracks definitely caught me like right off the bat. And I can't remember the name, but yeah, I'm excited for the album to come out.
Dude, I love it. I love the record.
So basically, you had a link to.
Oh yeah, I got a link from the guy at MVD. Until he usually sends me a promo CD of it. So in the meantime, he had sent me the link, and it didn't sound wise. They didn't, of course, they're MP3, so they sound like shit. So, but then a couple days later, the CD showed up in the mail. So I popped the CD in the stereo, and it's been in there the whole time. I love it. I think it's a great record. I like it so much better than the last album. I thought the last album was just half of it was really good, and the other half was just okay.
I'm kind of the same way. I liked what was the album before? Get the Hell.
Get the Hell, yeah, that's a great record.
Yeah, I dug that album all the way around. But
then you'll like this album kind of has that vibe to it, I thought.
Right on. Man, you gotta give it to those dudes. They truly are the hardest working band in rock and roll, man.
Oh my God, I know.
Always something going on the road, releasing something. Like you said, doing all those singles and everything. It's like,
yeah, and that was like they were doing all those singles when the height of their career was long over,
Yeah.
I mean, their Sub Pop days, when they were on Sub Pop, is I guess probably I would think their biggest their biggest selling records, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but
that was the Evil Powers and all that era, right?
Not before that.
Really?
Yeah, like I thought they had a semi decent hit with Born with a Tail.
Yeah.
And that was on the album before Evil Powers, I think.
Yeah.
The early records still, to me, the very early records, the punkier records, I'm still not I still don't know those records too well.
I don't either.
Yeah, I started off with this record. This is where I came into the Super Suckers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I knew of them, but when you don't like bands, like everything that was happening on Sub Pop at the time, like I saw they were on Sub Pop and be like, oh, these guys gotta suck.
Yeah. Grunge label.
Yeah. So I didn't even bother with them.
Right. I think I come on around Born with a Tail and Evil Powers, and then I kind of faded a little bit. So around the time that album come out, I wasn't paying as much attention to him.
Right.
And what was after that one? I can't remember now.
They put out that double, the greatest rock and roll band in the world thing. It was like a hits of, I think, all that early stuff.
Yeah, it might have been around that era. I kind of come back in and
and then this one.
Yeah.
So.
Right on. Can't go wrong with any Super Suckers, really.
Man, I love this record. I remember, and I'll tell you, the first time I got a promo of it, and this is how I fell in love with this record. I had a promo of it at work, and I had like a little stack of CDs that I took with me from work, and that was in there. And I said, I'll check these out because I was heading to the Poconos. So that was the first disc of the bunch that I put in the car, and I think I listened to it the whole 2-hour drive up to the Poconos. I never listened to the other records. So,
hey, let me ask you a question: does that cover have autographs on it? Like it looks like it's autographed.
I don't think so.
So I have that also, but mine looks like it has autographs, but I didn't think they were real autographs. I'll have to pull it out.
Nah. Now I remember when you got that. Actually, yeah, I remember when you got that. I told you that I thought they were real.
I'll have to pull it out again. Because for some reason, you know how you've seen where they're just printed,
Yeah.
like kind of look like that. So I figured all the vinyl was that way or something, but maybe it wasn't.
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, this is. I think this is the German pressing. I could be wrong. I can't remember now.
I can't
I
remember.
have it on the front. I know there's a mistake on this tag I have on the front because I just noticed it. Because I have it listed as Germany, but then I have original U.S. pressing blue vinyl. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
You hear the dogs again?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
All right, well, I pulled one out. What I went with was Bad Brains.
There
Eye
you
Against
go.
Eye.
I haven't heard
Everybody,
that record in a long time.
oh my god, dude! Everybody should hear this album at least once. I mean, this is definitely if we were doing a top whatever, this would be on my top 10 of all time. And this came out like in 86, I think it was. And I didn't really hear it until 88, 89 or something like that. Fred turned me on to it. And dude, every song on this album is just freaking fantastic. I was in a band in college. We played one of the tracks, Reignition. It's just, and Bad Brains are legendary DC hardcore punk band.
Yep.
But for me, that a lot of people love that early stuff, was it Rock for Light and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, man, and maybe it's because this is the first one I heard or whatever, but Eye Against Eye, man, that's like, I don't think they ever released anything else that's better. And like I said, that's just me.
Isn't it funny, like when you get into a record in a weird period of the band's discography?
Yeah, that you might not have liked if
right.
you had knew them before. You know what I mean?
And like you tell people, like, oh man, I like, not that I got into them, but like when I tell people that I love the Motley Crue record with Karabi, people are like,
yeah, it's a little odd statement to make, but
I'm like, that could be the best, and musically could be the best Motley Crue record that they ever wrote.
Yeah,
with Karabi, and it tells you because Karabi's a way better songwriter than any of those four guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Karabi has that. I don't know. He's got something that Nikki Sixx kind of wishes he had. Whereas as far as songwriting goes, I don't know if it's like the medley or the hook or something, but when I thought he brought a lot to Motley when John joined. Because you had a second guitar player, you had another songwriter. Because I guarantee you, Vince doesn't write, man.
Yeah.
At least he doesn't write anymore. I don't,
What years was he in? What year was that album?
What, the
Karabi?
94.
Yeah, I see it. It wouldn't have got a chance no matter what.
Right. And he's a local boy.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah, he's from here. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he played in bands with like Johnny and from Brittany, and he's played with all those guys over the years. So I was a little too young, I think, when he was in a band called, they weren't called Angra, but it was something like that. Damn, I can't remember. And they were like kind of popular Philly hard rock band, and then I don't think they ever did anything, and he ended up moving to LA, I guess. And he formed a Scream out there.
Yeah.
And then
saying you like Motley Crue with Karabi,
like
someone saying, yeah, my favorite Star Wars is the first three.
What, the episode 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've come across people like
I have too.
Yeah. It's crazy. It all depends on age when you get into stuff, when you see it. And like I said, the Bad Brains album that was the first one. I had heard of them, but never really checked them out. And that album just totally kicked my ass, man. So
Yeah, it was a good record.
if you never heard that, give it a shot. Like, what's the one song? HR, the singer, was in jail, and they actually called him in jail, and he sung the lyrics over the phone. They're like,
Oh, yeah, that's on.
is it Reignition?
I think it is.
Yeah. But yeah, it's awesome album, man. And a crazy band. If you ever want to do some research on that band in DC, they're from DC, and for a lot of years they couldn't play anywhere in DC.
No, they couldn't.
Shit just got out of control.
Yeah.
And they ended up being a work band for a while, CBGBs and all that stuff.
Did you see? A matter of fact, I was going to send you a picture. I forgot to take it. I was down Barnes and Noble earlier. There's a new Misfits book out. Did you see that? I think it's called like Scream for Me or something.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Like picture, looks like a picture book or, there's tons of pictures in it.
Did you flip through it?
I flipped through a little bit. I was like, man, this is killer. I got to get this.
Man, I haven't seen it anywhere. I've seen it online, and sometimes with that stuff, it's like, I don't know.
No, it's definitely.
It's cool.
I will be purchasing it at some point.
Cool. Right on.
I waited. I came home. What time did I come home today? I don't even remember. Whew.
That's all right.
Anyway. Brain fart.
Yeah.
Too much weed or something. Damn, dude. Yeah, I got home. What time did I get home today? It was a little later than normal, about 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went down there, and so I saw it was $30. I'm like, I'll just wait, and I'll see what Amazon has it for. And it ended up it's like 27 on Amazon right now. So
yeah, I definitely did see it and was like, that'd be cool to have, but
it's definitely some of the pictures in it, and it's cool because you know how like all the 7-inch singles that were kind of like blurry or on purpose. They were, either the contrast was set real high so they looked like they were real dark, and some of the book is actually like photo shoots from those.
Oh wow.
It looks like it anyway from some of those 7-inch sessions.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they're clear. The pictures are clear as shit. When I was standing there looking at it, I'm like, looking at the Misfits like this is weird because you hardly ever see like crystal clear pictures of that era of the band.
Right. That was part of the mystique or whatever.
Yeah. And this book's filled with them. So, and it's only from like 77 to 83 too.
Okay.
That's the years that it covers, I think.
A pretty big book.
Couple hundred pages, maybe like that.
Oh, that's cool. Right.
Yeah, I guess like I would say 200 pages, maybe.
Cool.
It looks awesome. So
I'll get on Amazon, check it out.
Yeah, I put it in my wish list, thinking like, all right, as soon as this drops down to like $19.99, I'll grab it.
I had another. I don't know where it's at now, but another Misfits book I read a while back. It was pretty good. It was based. I can't remember what the hell it was called. It was kind of the history of the band.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. Now there's a new one. Like I saw it on Amazon when I was looking for the one I saw today. It's like the complete discography of the Misfits or something like that.
Oh, really?
It's a couple hundred pages, but it's like $38.
Yeah.
So I was like, yikes! I'm not getting that.
Some of the shit's a little pricey.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get into the main topic here.
Yeah, man, shoot.
All right, we thought we'd talk about debut albums, just like favorites, that kind of thing, and great debuts. And myself, I pulled some out, and I tried not to be, everybody knows first Sex Pistols and
right,
whatever. I tried to mix it up a little bit, have a couple well-known bands, a couple lesser-known bands, that had killer debuts, So
now, I don't count EPs.
I didn't either. Nope.
All right, cool.
I went for full lengths.
Yeah, me too.
So you want me to jump in, or
Yeah, man. Shoot.
I'll do this for both of us? Because how can you talk about debuts without talking about this?
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, I mean, and the freaking songs on here, yeah, all the way from Black Diamond, Strutter, Cold Gin, Deuce. It's
That's
like,
when they were good.
yeah, it's like a best of right off the fucking bat, man.
Yeah.
What an album cover, you know what I mean? When you're 9 years old in the 70s, this, or basically, I was obsessed. It took over my life.
Oh my God. That's once I saw them on American Music Awards, that was it.
Really?
Yep, that was it.
But that's an awesome debut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big time.
So you got anything?
Yep. This was the first Four Horsemen record.
You know, I've never heard that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I actually have that saved in my cart. I was going to get the CD.
Oh yeah, dude. If you go to their website,
Mhm.
you can buy this stuff direct from the guitar player. And
Really?
they have all the CDs now with bonus tracks, and you could finally pick up a nice sounding copy of this is the reissue.
Okay.
This is direct from the Four Horsemen. It's a 2 LP set. One side is the original EP that was on like Caroline, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That black EP, the black cover one.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about.
And then the other side has demos.
Okay.
That unreleased tracks that I think were recorded for this record but never used. So, dude, I absolutely love this record. Killer, like, that street kind of honky tonk hard rock, like,
they're kind of in that junkyard kind of vein a little bit, right?
A little dirtier, I thought. Yeah.
A little more rock, maybe.
Yeah, especially Frank Starr. I always liked, and Frank Starr, man, the singer, that guy had either the band had the worst luck in the world or that guy had a super black cloud over his head.
But that was another dude that was in jail at one point and all that, right? That kind of set the band up, and yeah.
After I think it was after this record came out, he got in trouble for something, and the cops kept trying to come after him when they would play in town. And they finally called up to him one day, and I think that ended the tour. Wow. If I'm not mistaken, that ended the Four Horsemen's first tour, and basically ended the band at that point, because it wasn't until like 8 years later that they put a second record out.
Wow.
On Magnetic Air. I think it was called Getting Pretty Good at Barely Getting By.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great record too. That's something I wish they would release on vinyl, but
I need to check those guys out. I've known about them forever, but they're just one of those bands that got by me.
And Rick Rubin produced it.
Yeah.
It's on, I think it originally came out on that Def America or Def Jam or, whatever that was called then.
Did they just do an article on them in one of the mags we read? Because I swear I just read something about them.
Not that I know of. I mean, I have no idea.
Classic Rock or Planet Rock or one of those. It might have been Planet Rock. Because I know I've read.
I don't know. Because I have the latest one with Queen, I think, on the cover.
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet. I have it, but I haven't read it. So it was one of those before.
I'll have to check. I can't. I'm drawing a blank because nowadays that's the magazine I buy every time I see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other one that I like, the Viva La Rock.
Yeah, that's a cool mag too.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Well, I myself need to check that one out. So that's cool.
Yeah, man, I think you'll like it. It's you know me, when my alley is, man, like super suckers like Nashville Pussy, Jason and the Scorchers, AC/DC. These guys fit right in with all those bands. So
next one I grabbed, I've talked about this band before. Freaking love this band, and it's one of the best debut albums I think ever, which is Warrior Soul.
Oh yeah,
Last Decade, Dead Century. Is there any more pissed off album than this, where this, the singer just talking about basically hating the government, living on the underground, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you never heard Warrior Soul, man, definitely check this album out. Their first four are fantastic, but this album, it just blew me away when I heard it. I'd never heard lyrical content like that.
Yeah.
And
I thought The
was
Wasteland was the first thing I'd ever seen from them, and I
Yeah.
was hooked as soon as I saw it, especially that riff.
Oh man, that whole album's like music, lyrics. The whole thing is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
But see, I like the Space Age Playboy stuff era too.
yeah, you kept going on with that, and
Yeah.
I kind of dropped off because they kind of lost that
They
political.
went more for a party vibe.
Yeah, which I had trouble with because
Yeah.
man, I dug where he was coming from lyrically and all that. I was
Mhm.
at that age too when it was like, yeah, fuck everybody.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
We are in the wasteland, man.
Yeah. But yeah, then they kind of went that little more rock party thing. It was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I think that's because I think a couple of the members had left by then. I think that his main songwriting partner, the guitar player, had left.
Yeah.
And he had gotten, I think the guy's name was like Johnny Jetson or some shit. And that guy writes real like glammy hard rock type 70s sound and hard rock.
Yeah.
I think when they got together, I love that record. And then after that record came out a couple years later, I think they actually ditched the Warrior Soul name and started the band as Space Age Playboys. They put a couple records out as Space Age Playboys that I really love. I love the first record. Actually, maybe they only did one. I think they only did one official first record, but they were releasing stuff through, if you remember, mp3.com.
Yeah.
Remember how you could buy like CDRs of the album?
Mhm.
That's where I first bought, like, initially first bought their material was on there, and it was like 10 or 12 songs. But then when the album actually came out, like a few months later, some of the songs were missing. It was weird.
I know exactly what you're talking about because that whole era was like, he was living on the underground kind of. It was hard to find shit. You knew something was going on, but like you said, you know what I mean? You bought this and then you got something else that was different, but it should have been the same thing and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were hard to keep up with for a while. And then, well, they're back together. They just put something out, what, last year or year before last?
The last 2 years, I think they've released 2 records.
I've checked out, the YouTube stuff, the videos and all that, and it's just like it just didn't grab me.
No, I think the last album he went more political with, and then this album he went more of a hard rock party vibe on, like kind of almost AC/DC-ish on this record, some of it. So
his vocals, man, his voice is just like, man, he's been gargling with nails or something, man.
His voice is shot.
Yeah, he was always on the edge.
Yeah.
On those first 4, even, it was like every album, his voice got a little more.
Yeah, if he took care of his voice, I mean, I don't know if he does or not, but I think he could probably get back 80% of what he used to be if he took care of it. But you could tell he either smokes or drinks a lot.
Too busy yelling at the president.
Yeah, I know he fucking hates Trump. I know that.
You got another one?
Well, I don't have it like sitting here, but I thought the first Motley record, Too Fast, that record to me was their best, other than the best of the Vince Neil stuff. Right, that record.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Shout at the Devil, but there was something about Too Fast for Love that I think it wasn't as glammy as everything else that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not in 81. I guess Talkin was the big deal then. And 82 was 82 or 83 Shout the Devil came out? 83, I think.
I'm thinking 83.
So I mean, that's pretty early to have that glammy LA sound in 81, but that's what they had, that that punky attitude to it, though. It wasn't as hard rock as a lot of the bands. It had more of a, like I said, a punk edge to some of it.
Right. I mean, you got to give it to him. I mean, they were early LA, you know what I mean? They kind of did open the door for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think, I mean, having lived through that era, Motley Crue was big, but it seems like today they make it sound like they just fucking ruled the world. And I don't think they did back then. They were a big band, but they were no bigger than, you know, whatever at the time, Talkin at the time, or
No, I think their reputation was bigger than
absolutely
what they perceived themselves to be. As you know, I mean, what they perceived um their fan base, I guess, to be. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, these guys weren't. They were no Rolling Stones back in the '80s, like the Stones were in the '60s. That's not
exactly. Some of these bands, like, and I even say that for Metallica. You know, some people think Metallica like owned the '80s. They didn't, man. They were still underground until the Black Album come out, or Injustice kind of.
Yeah, I think Justice was the album that they started getting. Probably that they started making a profit on.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
That's probably the first record that they actually started making a little bit of money on.
People were paying attention by then. You know what I mean? I mean, they had opened for Ozzy on Master of Puppets.
Right.
And then, you know, it definitely took off from there. And then Justice come out and they toured on their own. But sometimes you hear people talk to where, oh, Metallica, as soon as Kill 'Em All come out, they just own the '80s, and that's so untrue. Same thing with Motley Crue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they weren't any bigger than anybody else.
Hold on one sec.
All right.
You can keep talking. I'm just going to mute mine.
But I don't think they were any bigger than anybody else up until about Dr. Feelgood, and they did get huge there. But then they were gone right after that. I mean, it was one giant album and 3 or 4 very well-known, very much liked albums. But again, they didn't rule the '80s. And I just get that feeling, you know, when some people talk about it today.
Yeah, no, they definitely didn't. I mean, I remember when Wild Side or Girls came out, there was a big to-do about it.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the bigger push was Feel Good for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, man, Girls, was that bigger than Stay Hungry tour?
No, I would doubt it.
It might have been the same. You know what I mean? It's not like they were, I don't know, cracks me up some of the revisionist history, I guess, or, you know.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess looking back at all that stuff, I didn't know the ins and outs of like the touring aspect of things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be curious to see numbers as far as who drew what back then. But I doubt you could probably find legit numbers.
But I mean, you know, all those bands were the big bands. There wasn't anybody that, Dio was as big as Crue.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, like in that era, the big bands were like Tom Petty.
Yeah,
and
Bruce Springsteen. Jesus.
Yeah, Springsteen was huge, and like '85 was crazy when
that USA era.
When that record came out, forget it.
And Tina Turner, I remember her being gigantic for
that was like '84, and that was I think that piggybacked off of the Michael Jackson record, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, there's another huge one.
Yeah, I think that really piggybacked off of Thriller.
Yeah.
The Tina Turner record, and that's a great record too.
Yeah. But I mean,
I love Tina Turner. I loved her with Ike and that kind of stuff. So,
but even taking the pop out of it and just comparing the metal,
Yeah, I mean, at that time you would only had Quiet Riot was big and Def Leppard was really big. Pyromania was really big then.
Yeah, right there's a good example. Def Leppard was much bigger than Motley Crue in the 80s. Def
I
Leppard was,
yeah, in my area, they definitely were.
yeah. I mean, from Pyromania all the way through the more poppy ones. The next two after that,
Yeah,
the hell they were adrenalized, and what was the other one?
Hysteria.
Yeah, those two were just like, Jesus God, you couldn't get away from any of that stuff, man. On
No,
MTV, the radio, everybody playing it in their car. It was just nuts, you know.
and I liked Adrenalize better than Hysteria.
Those two, Hysteria was kind of like, it was cool when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like Bon Jovi when the first big album came out. The
Yep.
was it New Jersey? Is that the big one?
No, Slippery When Wet.
No, the one that had "You Give Love a Bad Name" and all
Yeah,
that.
Slippery When Wet.
Is that it? I
Yeah.
thought that was New Jersey.
No, Jersey had like Bad Medicine and
That it's that era. Whenever they were on MTV like 4 times an hour. You know what I mean? They were much bigger than Motley Crue in the 80s.
big time. They were the out of every hair band or that era. I think Jovi was the biggest one of them all. Sales wise, everything. I mean, the guy looked like he was chiseled out of stone.
Yeah.
You know, he had the perfect look. He had the perfect teeth, perfect hair. The guy was like, if I was a chick, I'd fuck him. I ain't gay, but $20 is $20.
But hell, man, the White Snake '87 album, bigger than anything.
That was bigger than Motley,
and that was a blip. I mean, that was, or not a blip, but like a 2-year thing.
Yeah, for us, for the Americans, that was a blip.
Yeah, it was like
they were
going.
Yeah, they were already. I think White Snake was already pretty huge over in England.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said, we talked about Slide It In before.
Yeah, I prefer the early mix.
But all right, I'll grab another one here. Just showed Warrior Soul, and I was talking about, you know, being the whole political thing. The only other debut that blew me away with the whole political thing is the first Rage album.
That's a good one.
And same deal, man. Just the lyrical content and all that. And I saw these guys before I knew who they were. I saw them on Lollapalooza, and they come out and played and just fucking blew my mind. I had no idea who they were. And everybody just, and I don't think most of the people in the crowd knew who they were, because like the first song kicks in and everybody's kind of, you know, getting into it. And by like the halfway through the second song, it was just a goddamn riot, man. Everybody was just going nuts for this band.
Yeah, they put on a show, man.
And like I say, I went out the next day and bought that on CD, and that's still one of my favorite, you know, debut albums.
Yeah, that's a great one. And that was one of those ones that I was like, who the fuck are these guys? And I popped the CD in, and I was like, wow. The first track on it, and then what's the first? Is Bulls on
Parade's on.
What's the first track?
Bomb Track.
Bomb Track's killer, and then Killing in the Name of is next.
Take the Power Back. Settle for Nothing.
Yeah.
In the Head. It's just a solid album, top to bottom.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And, you know, okay, I'm not a rap guy, and I first heard that, and it's like, okay, this guy's rapping, and you hear what he's rapping about, and it's like, yeah, this guy's on time. I dig this, and the guitar work is just nuts. You know?
Yeah.
So it's just a killer album.
So you're going heavy political tonight.
Well, just with those two. I'll switch it up here in a minute. You got anything else you can think of? I know I pulled out way more than you did.
The only other one I thought of tonight, you know, other than the Motley, was the first Wasp record.
I 100% on that one, dude.
Yeah, that record, and it was one of those things like they used to play the Mighty Metal Shop on Saturday nights, and all my friends would tell me like, "Yo, did you hear that track last week? The guy says the F word on the radio. You know, he said fuck on the radio." I'm like, "Get out of here!" I swear, man, the guy said he fucks like a beast or something. So I was like, "All right." So I went to Radio Shack. Remember they used to have like the 10-pack cassettes?
Yeah.
So I bought a 10-pack for like $3, whatever.
That's about what they were worth, if I remember
Yeah.
right.
But if you got the shelled cases, like the solid shell cases, they were good. If you got the ones later on, a little bit later, that went clear,
Yeah.
they were shit. They were like the Kmart 3-pack back in the day you could get for
Right.
95 cents, like
Right.
they squeaked when you played them. Like you can hear them fucking squeaking. That's how gross they were.
Oh God.
So where the hell was I? What was
Talk
I
about
talking about?
Wasp.
Oh yeah, so they kept telling me this is where my mind, dude. You got to hear this song. I said, all right. So I went and got one of those brick of tapes. I used to go to my dad's on Friday or Saturday nights. Since I was a kid, when I was a kid. So I've always brought my boombox with me, and I would set it up, and then right at 11 or 11:30, I can't remember. I think it was 11:30. 11:30 to 1, it would come on, and I'd hit record on the boombox and let it go, and I'd fall asleep. And when it would hit the end of side 1, it would click so loud it would wake me up. So all I had to do was reach down and flip it and hit record again.
Okay.
So I did this like 3 weeks in a row, and I didn't hear this. They didn't play it. So I'm like, these guys are so full of shit. But I will tell you, I did. That's where I first heard Breaking the Chains from Talkin. I first heard Rock You from Helix.
Now, let me ask you: was this a local metal shop, or was this Dave Kendrick?
This was a local. Mean Ed Green.
Okay. Mean Ed Green.
Yep. And there was somebody before him too, but I think I was a little too young to
God, that's great
remember.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, listening to the radio like that and just hearing shit, and it so turn you on, stuff you never heard before.
And then it was like the third or fourth week, I'm like laying there, and I used, because what I would do is I would watch Saturday Night Live turned way down on a little black and white TV, and then I'd have my boom box right next to me, and I'd just, like I said, hit record. And I'm sitting there and I'm laying in bed. I'll never forget it. My dad had just got a new a beagle pup, and she was laying with me, and I heard the song start, and I heard him scream, "I fuck like a beast," and I hit the ceiling. I was like, "Oh shit!" There is, like,
that's
it was
awesome.
fucking crazy. The dog went running. I think she took off out in the living room and scared the shit out of her. And I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, what, 14 or something,
Right. That's awesome.
And it was funny. And then I remember going to the mall that like following weekend, all stoked to buy the record. I buy the record. I get home.
It's not on there.
It's not fucking on there.
I get that EP, man.
I didn't know anything about it.
Same way, dude.
What the fuck? They must have another record out. So it actually wasn't until like a year later that I actually picked up an actual copy of the 12-inch.
That's cool.
Because nobody had it around here. Like the mall didn't carry it. It was an import.
I didn't find it for a couple years either, man.
Yeah.
Same. Dude, I remember how I first saw them. It was either like Night Flight or Radio 1999. Remember
that? Night Flight was on USA, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think both those shows were. I'm pretty sure
Friday Night Flight.
I'm pretty sure the first time I saw them was on Night Flight, I think. But anyways, they played the video for Love Machine.
Ah, such a great song.
Yeah, and did you remember how Blackie is like standing, looks like a spider or something, man, doing his hair and singing? Yeah. I still remember watching that for the first time, just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah,
These guys
tall and lanky.
Yeah. And from then on, man, that album and the next one.
Next one's not quite as strong as the first record.
I totally
agree. Like listening to it now that we're old farts.
Yeah.
Listening to it now, it's definitely not as strong as the first record, but you get Wild Child and Blind in Texas on there. So.
It's like, it almost reminds me of like, it has a little bit of a crew thing because that first album is more raw.
Mm-hmm.
And that next album is like, hey, MTV's paying a little bit of attention. We need to get on MTV, clean it up a little bit. Vote and same deal with Crew. The first two albums are great. Same deal with Wasp. First two albums are great, but that first Wasp album is just like it's
Actually,
metal.
I love Electric Circus. I thought that was better than Last Command.
Really, yeah. Those first three. That's kind of, to be honest, where I kind of end with Wasp. I have a bunch more after that, but
Yeah, because they changed. They changed after that.
they got a little too serious or something.
Yeah, I mean, he started doing well. Blackie started getting even more in love with himself than he was before, and I think at the time he really thought he was like Pete Townsend or some big shot songwriter, And the guy's a great songwriter. Don't get me wrong. And the guy's vocals, even now, in this late in the game, I know they use a lot of backing vocals live, but he does sing the verses live, and the guy sounds like he did in 1980.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
I have a couple of the newer, like was it Babylon and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
like not my cup of tea.
But they don't sound bad, dude.
No,
I mean,
he still sounds amazing.
you know what it comes down to? Wasp should have Blackie Lawless on bass. When he got off bass, something changed in the band.
Yeah, well, because he lost Randy Piper and he lost Chris Holmes after a while,
That's a big loss too.
I mean, Chris Holmes, and I hate to say it, the guy was an amazing guitar player. I thought he had a distinct sound. Anytime he played, you knew it was him. At least I did, especially when he soloed.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fucking, he became this like recluse drunk, like
he was almost like a caricature of himself.
Yeah, like a hermit almost. He disappears for like 20 years, comes back in that kill fuck die era.
Yeah.
Actually looked good, played great because I saw him live in New York on that tour. And the album after that, if you remember, El Dorado, they tried to get that early 80s, like, we're going to be offensive on this record, as offensive as we can be. Like, what was it? Dirty Balls was one of the tracks, and Suck My...
Really?
It was like a song like Suck My Nuts or something like that. It wasn't called that, but it might as well have been.
Yeah.
And the songs were actually really good, I thought. And then lyrically, he kept it in between like the heaven and hell thing, and he went like back to the sex shit, like with Dirty Balls and that stuff. And it failed miserably. And I think if he would have stayed in the area of writing like he did with the other tracks on that record and didn't have that Dirty Balls and, fucking chicks at 80 years old or however old he is, it probably would have been a bigger record for them because there's some really good songs on that record. And the one after that, which I think is Chris Holmes's last album, and it's like Unholy Terror or something like that. Mm-hmm. Again, another great record. It was darker than El Dorado. They dropped that whole like early 80s party lyrics thing and went back to the more serious shit. And it was a killer record. But then when Chris leaves, he gets the Doug Blair back, who I think took Chris's spot back in the 90s.
Right.
And he goes heavy with the religious overtones on the last two studio albums. And, he can go fuck himself for all I care with the religious shit. You know what I mean? I don't need that stuff in my music. Like, I don't care if he's born again, like Dave Mustaine, more power to you. I don't want to hear about it.
I'm kind of the same way, but a lot of that stuff goes over my head because I'm very ignorant when it comes to religion. I'm just not interested in it.
Yeah, me too. Anymore.
They could be singing about something totally religious, and sometimes I don't even get it.
Yeah, it just, as soon as I know that it's kind of pushing their religious agenda lyrically, like Stryper pissed me off kind of that way. They were a cool band, but it's like I can't take them seriously as a serious band. To me, they're like another Steel Panther.
Yeah.
Like, because they're just,
It's a gimmick almost.
right.
Yeah.
It's a gimmick. Exactly right.
Yeah, I feel that way a little bit too. And like I said, I'm not religious
No,
and nothing against anybody that is, but I'm the same way. It's like, I don't really need it in the music. And if
and
it
I don't
is,
need. Yeah, I don't need to hear about
right,
your religious beliefs. I don't care what your religious belief is. As long as you're a cool person, I don't give a fuck.
I'm the same way,
You know.
whatever. All right,
Unfortunately, there's about 3% of us that think that way anymore.
no doubt, man. Seems like a lot of the trouble is either politics or religion. So
Yeah, and then when you get them together, like what's happening now, it's you see what happens. It's getting really it's pretty bad right now, especially after yesterday.
like I say, I stay away from all of it. I'm
Yep.
ignorant with most of it.
I just I it bothers me with the kids being young and looking at this whole era.
Yeah,
It's like, what are these guys doing, man? It's like, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're trying to make their own wallets fatter, and they're trying to keep their jobs down in Washington. That's all they're doing.
I totally agree. Yeah.
So,
All right, I'll move on to the next one. Don't know a lot about this band. Love this album. Quicksand Slip.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with them at all.
Like it's just like early 90s, 94. And I think a couple of these dudes were in a band called Gorilla Biscuits, I think. I don't know.
I
If you
remember that.
They were kind of like a punky kind of band. This is very much like a groove thing. Just I don't even know how to explain it, other than it's a solid album. And again, I don't. It's stupid of me to actually show this because I don't know a lot about this band, but this is one of my favorite debut albums. This is just a cool hook laden. Do you remember Helmet?
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of in that vein. You know how Helmet had those cool guitar, da-da-da, da-da-da. Same deal with this band. So I mean, definitely worth checking out if you've never checked out that album. They had one other one. I have it also. I can't remember the name of it. They both just got reissued 3 or 4 years ago. So that's why I picked it. I've had
That's
one.
like the I knew I was gonna forget the name. They were like in that era, early '90s, Screaming Trees.
Yeah, kind of.
You ever hear that record?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got into that record like maybe 2 months ago.
Really?
Yeah, I just heard it at work. I'm
Which
like,
record?
yeah, this is pretty good.
Which record was it? Do you remember?
I think their first one.
Ah, you're dipping your toe in grunge.
Yeah, I know. It's sad.
That's a cool band though. Mark Lanigan, the singer for Screaming Trees, has that cool voice.
Yeah, that was a really good record, I thought.
Uncle Anesthesia, I think, was their big one. I don't know if that's the one you were checking out.
It was like the yellowish cover. I don't know. It was their big one from the early '90s.
That's probably it. I pulled a couple more. Do them real quick.
Cool.
Modern
Of
Love.
course, yeah.
What an awesome album. What a fucking weird album, man.
It is weird.
Kind of on the punk edge, and everybody probably knows Roadrunner. Roadrunner.
Yep.
But 76, that come out. Boston band, right? If I remember correctly.
I think so, yeah. It was
Jonathan Richman.
Yeah, it's Jonathan Richman and yep.
Yeah, and I think they did this album, and that was it until like 5 years later, and it was a totally different deal, different band, and everything.
Yeah, then it was called Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers, I think.
Yeah, but this album is so weird, man. Like, what's the Pablo Picasso?
Yeah.
Everybody called Pablo Picasso an asshole.
Yeah, it's a weird record.
That's definitely cool, and I'm sure you dig this one.
Oh, of course.
Classic.
Yep.
Debut. Don't need to say much about this. I love this debut, but I'll say Join the Army ranks right up there with this album.
Yeah, that's
the Army.
That's when I got into them, was Join the Army.
Yeah.
Because I think they pushed heavy for that record when it came out. They advertised everywhere. Every magazine had that ad for Join the Army in it.
Oh yeah. And it's awesome. You can hear, I mean, this is a punk album.
Yeah.
And you can hear the progression from this album through Join the Army and then what was it, Lights, Camera, Revolution, and all
Yeah, the
that. With
punk to the groove thing.
get a little more metal or whatever, you can hear it from album to album. By the time they get over here, they don't sound anything like that first album.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy,
That's cool,
and they're
man.
still doing it.
Yeah, I saw them in York, PA, with Wrathchild America opening up. Man, they were awesome.
Wow.
It was back when what's his name with Metallica was playing with them, playing bass with them. Robert, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, Trejo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say the L's in those names. Like like I always say, quesadilla, just to piss people off. Ever since the grandmom in Napoleon Dynamite told him to go make yourself a dang quesadilla. That's what I've been calling.
Man, I haven't seen that forever.
I love
Our
that.
youngest daughter loved that movie, man.
Yeah, I love the brother, man. His brother's like, you're just mad because I was talking on the internet to chicks all day.
Such a weird movie, man.
It is.
I got like two more.
Yeah, go for it.
You ever heard First Straw Dogs?
No, I definitely haven't heard that one.
Awesome band. I think they were out of Canada or upstate New York. And I think the singer died. Was hit by a bus or something, like right when this album came out or after it came out. They had an EP around the same time, and then this full length.
Now is that
punk?
Is it
like in the vein of not in the vein of, but in the way Suicidal was punk and kind of metal.
Mm-hmm.
Same with these guys. And these dudes had something to do with the Subhumans, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I may be wrong there, but there was another band that was related somehow. But again, if you've ever checked these guys out, this album, definitely worth checking out. And I think they had one more after this one, and if I remember right, it's not all that great. And the last one, a newer one from 2011, 2012, is The First Orchid. Did you jump on this, man?
I did not. The only thing I have from them is like a 10-inch.
That 10-inch is the EP that's like 3 years before this. And then, no, they had a couple 10 inches. So
it's like,
yeah, I
don't know. It's like black with,
I can't remember.
Purple. It's like black and purple or some shit.
Yeah.
It didn't really, I remember when I listened to it, it didn't really hit me all that much. So I just have it like in the collection.
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of the same way, but this one is the album, man. Mouths of Madness, I think, was the second album after this. Not near as good, I don't think. This is Capricorn.
Now, what's that? What do they sound like on that one? Sabbathy?
Sabbath.
Yeah.
Like even more Sabbath than any other you've heard.
Oh, cool.
Their other stuff. That album blew me away. And I remember that was right around the early, joining the VC. And dude, we were all going nuts on this album. So
I'll have to check it out.
There's the video, I can't remember what the track is, but it's them like playing in a room, and it's got that retro look to the room. It's got big rugs on the floor and all that.
Orange amps?
Probably.
Yeah.
Full on Sabbath to like, are you kidding me?
All those guys play those orange amps.
Yeah. There's so many of those bands now. It was cool kind of around this time. It was kind of refreshing to hear some of that stuff, but then it just like everything else, it got so like
it's oversaturated now.
It was like I just can't keep up, and everybody's the good ones are here.
Yeah, so. That's what I said. I'll stick with the good ones that started that I know. I'll check out all the other ones, but chances are I won't buy a lot of it. So.
Yeah,
and you're like me now. Like you haven't been buying too much lately, have you?
Hardly at all. I got a Aussie bootleg coming in the mail. That's about the only thing I've bought lately.
Which one?
It's from '81. It's that boot label that puts the OBI strips on the side. It's a newer label. that Twisted Sister I showed, and
Yeah,
uh,
I know
Queensryche.
exactly what you mean. I know exactly. I saw it. I think I saw it on eBay.
Yeah, they actually had it on Hell's Headbangers. I grabbed it.
Oh shit, nice.
I think they had the Twisted Sister on there too.
I got to start going back there.
I check their updates, but like I said, if I order something from them once every 3 or 4 months anymore, used to
Yeah,
be almost.
that seems like everybody. Like the shop, our shop's just been. It's weird. Like our January was up this year.
Mhm.
It didn't feel like it.
Really?
Yeah, we felt. I felt like we were dead all January, but
Wow. Everything's up and down. It's like,
it sucks. Like around here, and I don't know how it is in your area, but around here, it's not a Trump area. They're
mhm.
definitely liberals that live in this area. So it really is, and people think I'm nuts when I say it, but I talk to other small business owners on our strip, and they're saying the same thing. Like nobody around here is buying anything. Nobody's leaving. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like they're so enthralled with what's going on in Washington. It seems like, and
Mhm.
then like in my in-laws area, they're like mostly Trumpers out there, and it's completely different. Everybody's happy and out
Yeah.
shopping, and there's like no money there, and I don't get it. I don't
I,
understand it.
dude, I'll tell you right now, like the whole atmosphere, and this is just somebody from the outside looking in, because like I
Mhm.
said, I don't follow
Right.
politics. I don't give two fucks. It seems like everybody just needs to chill, and you know,
Well,
when
that's what it is.
Obama
Absolutely.
got in, all the Republicans were going nuts. Oh, the country's doomed, and now Trump's in, and the Democrats are going nuts. Oh, the country's doomed. It's like, man, just let it run its course, and you know,
Yeah.
people out, vote
The
people in.
problem with it nowadays is no matter who is in there, I know, although I've never been a Trump guy, even when I was a kid, I always thought he was a jerk off. And it's like, people don't realize, everybody says, oh, this guy's had his presidency, he's been getting nailed to the cross every day, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, well, first off, the guy can't shut up.
Yeah,
He can't stop tweeting. He can't stop lying about stuff. If he would just keep his mouth shut and stop tweeting,
I agree. It's
chances are people
childish,
wouldn't be making such a big deal of what's going on.
right?
But see, now that he's actually doing worse. The reason why they're doing all this impeachment shit now that he's going to get acquitted of it, but is because of his tweeting.
Yeah,
Because he's constantly saying stupid shit on there.
I agree 100%, man.
And it's like, this guy, he gets acquitted, or he will, I think, on Wednesday. And it's a shame. Like, the guy did something illegal and should be punished for it. Whether that's kicking him out of office or jail time after he leaves office or whatever. He has to be punished for it.
Yeah.
And when they come in and, the Republicans come in and say they don't want any witnesses on the Democrat side, people that have the information of what he did or what he said or anything, they don't want it. So the vote came out last night that they're not allowing any witnesses.
Right.
And then the Democrat, they keep talking about Hunter Biden, which is Joe Biden's son, that was on some fucking board of some company, Burisma overseas, when his father was the president. Is that shady? Fuck yeah, it's shady. Bring him in too. I don't care. If he did something wrong, bring him in. Bring them all fucking in. Bring Hillary in.
The only thing to me is that shady? Yeah, every one of those motherfuckers are shady.
Every one of those fucking guys.
And anybody in politics, and here it is.
Yep.
I'm a Gen Xer. I don't feel politicians represent me. This government represents me. It doesn't care.
Don't. Not anymore.
I'm just that guy. I'm a Gen Xer. I don't trust any politicians. I don't care what party it is. Just do what they got to do, run the country so they all get richer and blah, blah, blah. I don't care.
I was pretty much a Democrat, like heavy, because I hated Trump so much over the last couple of years. But now the Democrats kind of let me down with this whole thing. So it's like, now what? We need a third party.
But yeah, need to
The manhole party, man cave party.
yeah, just stop paying attention to it, dude. You'll be happier.
I wish I could, but I just, like I said, it's hard. Especially it's hard for me because I have two older guys that I work with that the one guy comes in, he's funny as fuck, and I love him like my older brother. But as soon as the door opens, he's like, "Do you hear what this fucking guy said today?" It's
Yeah.
like, I didn't even get my coffee yet, bro. This fucking guy. And then Dave, who's like my second dad, he does the same shit. He's like my dad. He's a couple years younger than my dad. But like I usually come in and he's up in the back. And then I call him every name, I have so many nicknames for this guy, like Diamond Dave or Dravis and all these weird names. So I'll walk in and and I'm like, "Yo, Diamond One, what are you doing back there?" And he's like, "Did you hear what this fucking Trump said this morning?" I'm like, "No, I didn't hear anything." And then he has to talk to me about it because he gets irate over it.
Yeah.
And he's in his late 60s and long time Republican. His father was in World War II, long time Republican. And both the father's still kicking, he's 90 something. Both of them told me, well, Dave told me this week I'm never voting Republican again.
Wow.
So, and his dad feels the same way. My dad's total Republican, and I love to bust his balls. See, when I was doing Facebook, the political shit on Facebook all the time, I was doing it to get a rise out of my couple cousins that are like staunch Republicans, and I love fighting with them because
I saw you fighting with a couple of them.
Oh, fuck yeah. I don't hold back from anybody. I'll call because they're my cousins and they know, like, if I see them on the street, I'm not going to go up and go, "Oh, you fucking Trump fuck," and like smack him or something. I'll just bust his balls even more, like when I see him, Like there's no hate there. It was just all fucking fun. But he took it a little serious sometimes, I guess. But then that got old too. I'm like, yeah, this fucking. Because then his friends started coming in. "You're a fucking asshole." I'm like, do you guys don't even know who I am, man. Like, I'm fucking busting my cousin's balls. Shut up already. One guy said he was gonna come to the shop and karate chop me in the throat
because of your political views.
Yes, I told him. You know what? I'll leave the front door open for you. I told him. I'm like, if your balls ever drop big enough to come into the front door, come on in. You won't have them for much longer after that.
Nah, like I said, man, I just can't get into that stuff.
It's just it's getting nowadays it's more of an entertainment thing for me because it's like, what else could possibly go wrong?
That's the thing, that government should be taking care of the country, not worrying. Like it's almost like a reality show now.
Yeah, now it is. Yep.
And it has been for a while, and it's just like nobody gets along, and it's like, you know what? I don't need the drama. Fuck
I crack up over what bothers me the most, I think, is the Trump sycophants. You know what I mean? Like the guys and the women that just whatever that guy says is whatever, is the way the way it should be. They don't listen to anything else, no reason whatsoever. And God forbid you hand them any facts.
Right.
They don't want to hear it.
Whole thing, it just seems to me, is just to keep everybody arguing so they can do what
that's the media's job for sure. That's the media's job, the mainstream media's job.
We don't have like real news anymore. You turn the news on, it's just like,
no. I watch Young Turks on YouTube actually, and I watch Majority Report because they're more left leaning, but they call everybody out. I mean, they don't get me wrong. They fucking hate Trump. But if Biden does something stupid or Obama did something stupid, they were up his ass too. So to me, like, that's the only two channels on YouTube that are kind of right down the middle. that I can kind of trust, and they always have links to facts and this, that, and the other thing. They always have shit to back up their news stories. So I
Yeah.
just stick with them right now.
I watch the local news for the weather and
I
see
do
who got.
too.
That's about it. The local rests.
Yeah, I wish they don't do that here anymore. I think because Philly's too big and there's probably too many
Yeah.
murders down there. I think we broke a record last year for murders in the city.
Really?
I think.
You gotta remember, I'm near Baltimore, so it's same deal. I'm not
Yeah,
as close as you are to
yeah.
Philly, but
You
yeah,
would
it's
never know it, man. Like where I live, you would never know. Like a half hour down Route 30 here, it's like the worst part of Philly you could be in.
really
Yeah, West Philly. And
wow.
it's literally like, I think if you looked at the mileage from my house
Mhm.
to West Philly, it's only like 9 to 11 miles. But with all the traffic lights and small little towns, it
Yeah,
takes you about a half hour to get there. But yeah,
wow.
I mean, I've driven down there in the daytime and missed where I was going, and it's like boom. It's like you're in a semi safe looking neighborhood, and then the next block is like burned out row homes
Yeah,
and just people, you know, smoking on these burned out row home steps. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like a bomb went off down here.
I remember
And that's
I was gonna say a friend and I went to. It's probably been 8 9 years ago. Went to Baltimore. The guy had rented a warehouse and he had a full of records, like used records.
mm,
And we didn't know. We went down there, and dude, it was a rough area. You know what I mean? We park in front of this big warehouse, go in, and he's like, "Oh, glad you could make it." He's like, "Did you lock your car?" I was like, "Well, yeah." He goes, "Yeah, make sure you keep it locked." I was like, "Why? You have trouble?" He goes, "Dude, I've lost like 3 stereos and shit out of my trunk." He goes, "I've only been here 2 months."
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. We went there one time. It's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to go here anymore, man. It was
Yeah.
rough. You walk out to the car and just people walking by. It's like, yeah, shit's about ready to go down.
Well, I saw there was a thing not too long ago on Vice or one of those things. They were in Baltimore. I guess there's a big heroin epidemic there as well as
It's
Philly.
everywhere.
Yeah, I know it's everywhere, but
Yeah.
like you look up the last the last season of um what's that addiction show on A&E?
I've seen it.
Anyway, they follow a drug addict the whole episode, right? The last season of that show was in Kensington, which again is about a half hour for me.
Holy
The whole
crap.
fucking season. Kensington is the worst fucking place for heroin and drugs right now.
Wow.
And they just don't do any they won't do anything about it. They don't have the funds to do anything. Well, they say they don't have the funds to do anything about it, but they'd rather, any kid that gets hooked on drugs around this area, heroin especially,
Screwed.
always end up in Kensington.
Wow.
They know that's where that's like the hub.
Yeah.
And you think they would just go in there and start cleaning house, but
It actually seems like it's getting a little better around my area. Like
I
we
hope
had,
so,
we
man.
had bad for a while. Like every day you would see stuff about 2 or 3 overdoses and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
unless it just doesn't make the news anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there's shit here that happens here that never makes the news. I talked to a couple of police officers that are local, and they're like, "Yeah, there was a guy murdered in the house down the street, a couple months ago." It's like, how come it wasn't on the news? They never reported it to the news.
Oh my god.
And there was a woman killed in Paoli, which is the next town up. She was beaten to death in her townhouse. I think she was in her 60s or something.
Yeah.
And I still, to this day, I don't think it was, I think it ended up being in the paper like a week after it happened. And I still, to this day, don't think they ever found out who did it.
Wow. Probably
They
never
think
will.
they know. They think it was like an old boyfriend, but it's crazy, man.
All right, man. We're going down a weird rabbit hole here.
Yeah, we did. Like we always do. That's what happens when we ramble, man. That's all right.
I think about time to wrap it up. We're about a minute 40 here.
Oh, a minute 40. That's all.
An hour 40. Goddamn.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, it was cool. Like I said, I was fighting some shit early in the week. I didn't really feel like hopping on, so
Yeah,
but
whatever.
I'm back for now until something else pisses me off, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I figure we'll keep these just whenever. Just
Yeah,
feel.
man, it's fun. I definitely it help. It actually helps me just forget about shit for a while too.
I look forward to it, man. Just get on here and
Yeah, me
bullshit.
too.
We were going to have Bance on, but he wasn't feeling well. And then
Plus, we have to check his internet connection too.
yeah. So we'll be reaching out to some other people here pretty soon too. So,
Yep.
all right, man.
Well, cool, brother.
It's good talking to you again.
Yeah, man. Well, episode 6 hopefully will be within 5 days or so.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool,
right,
man.
bro. Later, everyone.
Talk to y'all soon. Thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit subscribe if you haven't. And all that happy shit. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.